Morning folks. Well, no it's not, it's afternoon. Right, we're conducting a little bit of an experiment. So, as you can see, this is a very small bag for me. And I mean really small, like 24 litres. I haven't got a bag that's any smaller than this, camera bag wise. So, what we're going to do, I want to see how light we can actually travel. So I'll show you what's in the bag when we get up to the top. We're not going far, and we've got the Z9 with a 180 to 600, and we've got a few little bits. So what we're going to do now, normally when I'm going out for a day or whatever on a you know a lengthy shoot, if you will, I'll have a hide with me. I'll have a massive bag, I'll have loads of grub and drinks and all that kind of stuff, maybe a seat and what have you, but we haven't got that today. So I want to travel light. I've not got any, like I said, I've not brought a hide with me. We're going to make a hide. We're going to see how good a hide we can make out of what we've got in this bag. We're going to have to do a bit of improvising. We've got some paracord, we've got our walking poles which we're going to use. Now, walking poles, I don't know if anyone else uses these a lot, but they're fantastic for particularly hilly places like this. Not so much going up, because it don't bother me going up. I can go uphill all day long. It's when I'm coming down. For when you're walking up in the lakes and you know, proper gnarly hills, it takes a lot of pressure off your knees. And it's good for that extra stability. You know, you've got a third and a fourth point of contact. When you're negotiating ditches, seeing how deep rivers are, a stick, don't have to be a walking pole, but a thumbstick or whatever, you've seen me making the thumbsticks, they're really, really handy. But we're gonna use these today for improvising a little hide. So all we're gonna do, we're going up to the top of the lane. We've got a little spot there that we're going to do a bit of filming at, and we're going to see if we can, bit of improvisation, see if we can make a hide, and see if we can also, you'll notice I haven't got a tripod with me, because the tripod that I usually bring with me, that big high footage one, it's a monster, it's a big thing, big video head on it and that, and to get decent video footage, you do really need a tripod. Well, you do need a tripod, end of story. But if I'm out, say for a few days, and I'm lugging a big pack with me, taking a tripod and a video head adds a massive amount of weight. So we're going to do a bit of improvisation again. We're going to see if we can make a tripod. So stick with us. Let's go up to the top and let's see what we can knock up. Right, so we're up at the top, not far from the shepherd's hut. Now, when I've been coming up here and doing a bit of work, I've been spotting a lot of small birds just around this area. Now this is the bit that we took some of the ash trees out about, I don't know, it's over a month ago now, and I've left most of them in situ until it dies back a bit, and then I'm going to get the chainsaw and then we're going to get them all cut up and chopped, ready for winter. But what happened when the trees came down, they took a few of the smaller ones out with them, like a couple of hazels, and what happened, all the leaves have died back, and a lot of the small birds, we've seen chiff-chaffs on there, wrens, all sorts of stuff really, they've been going on this dead stuff. So I think there's a lot of insects inside the leaves where they're curled up, and it seems an ideal opportunity to try and get a few pictures. So I thought what we'd do, we'll set up here this improvised hide. We'll get sat down, get bedded in, see what we can create and see if we can get a few pictures. So what I'm going to do is show you what's in the bag first. So as I said, tiny bag for me, 24 litre. So let's have a look what we've brought. So we've got a mat for sitting on, we've no seat with us. Now this looks a bit excessive, so I've lost my Swiss Army knife. My Swiss Army knife that I've had for nearly 30 years, I've lost it. I can't find it anywhere. So that's what I'd normally use for the project that we're going to do. I've had to bring my Silky, which is a bit much, but it don't matter. We've also got a Mora knife there, just for putting a point on stuff, so that'll stay in there. We brought a few tent pegs, some cordage. I always like to have a bit of cordage on me, but for this project in particular we need cordage, so we've got 3 lengths of cordage. So in the bag I brought one of my bean bags. That's just got buckwheat husks in at the moment, so it's lightweight, nice and light. I've got in the main compartment, I've got one of my pouches with all my 3D camo stuff in. So I've got 3D hood, I've got the jacket, pants and gloves. We've got the camera, so as I said before, Z9 with a 180 to 600 on it, and then in the bottom we've just got some bits of scrim. So these are bits of scrim scarves, just offcuts really. So there's about 5 pieces there, and that's all we brought with us. I've got one spare battery, I think, one spare battery for the Z9, not that I'll need it, and that is it. So we've not brought any food with us, no drinks. So if I'm going out just for a few hours, this is the lightest setup that I could possibly get away with. And I said with no tripod, didn't I? So we are going to try and construct a tripod. So I'll show you how we do that now. Right. So what we need 3 lengths of hazel, literally that high, yeah, so up to your hip, and I'm hoping that we can get it out of one piece. So we've got a nice piece there, and I reckon that'll do us. So take that one down at the bottom. There we go. Right. So don't be fretting about taking something like this, because what will happen, because it's a form of coppicing, that will start regrowing at the bottom and it'll grow even stronger. So as I said, we want 3 pieces, about that I'll do it. So one there, two, and 3. I'll take these back now to where we're going to set up, and we'll knock a tripod up. Okay, so we've got our 3 lengths of hazel. What we really need to do is put a point on them, otherwise they're going to slip when they're in the ground. There we go. There's our 3 stakes with the points on. Now all we need to do, we've got our pieces of cordage. We want one about, I don't know, it doesn't have to be that long, to be honest. Maybe 4 foot. And then all we're going to do, just halve it, clovitch, and then our central pole, we're just going to put the clovitch around it, leave about 4 inches at the top, pull that tight, and then our other two. What we're going to do now is just tie them all together. So we can lie them down, wrap them round, just weave it in. And it doesn't have to be tight either, because what we're going to do, we've got our 3 hazel poles tied loosely together. We're just going to get one of the end ones and we're just going to spin it around like that, and then what that does, it tightens everything up, and then we can configure it in a triangle like that, and that, believe it or not, is going to be our tripod. And all we're going to do is just sit the beanbag on top of it, and that is absolutely solid. You can see there, you can sit the camera on it, and we've got a really stable platform, dead easy to make, piece of cake. If it's somewhere that we go regularly, we can just store that in the woods and we can use it again, can't we? So I've not made it particularly tall, this one, because I want to keep as low a profile as we can. So before I set the makeshift hide up, I'll always set the tripod up first and then build the actual hide around the tripod. So get our mat. We're just gonna get sat in here, I think, in all this bracken. So we'll put our mat down. Like I said, we've no seat with us. We're gonna just be sat on the deck. Mat down, clear away any debris, anything like this we can actually utilise and use it as part of the hide. So first thing, make sure you're in a decent spot. We've got a clear view that way, so if anything comes over there we can shoot that way, anything comes over that way we can shoot that way, and we've obviously got our bit in front of us. So let's get sat down here. The longer one can go that way, and shove them spikes in the ground. I think that'll do us. That's it. And then that'll just sit on top of there. Perfect. And we can actually pan with that to a degree. If we want to do any video work, I know it's never going to be anything as good as a video head, but don't forget, we're out in the field. We're not carrying that massive tripod around with us, and we've got a nice stable platform now. The light's just going a little bit, so as a consequence we're in the woods as well, so our shutter speeds are going to be coming down, and as a consequence we're going to need that bit more stability. So we're going to utilise our poles. These are lightweight Lecky trekking poles, the decent ones, because I use them, you know, when I'm out walking and what have you. You don't have to buy something fancy like this. You can get cheaper walking poles if you want. You could just use a couple of lengths of hazel if you wanted to, but it's nice to use something that can multitask with while you're not walking. You might as well use them as part of your hide. So these ones, as I said, they're adjustable. So what I tend to do is drop them right down as short as they'll go, and then all I want to do is just stick that spike in the ground. So I'm going to stick it in there and then adjust the height, bring it up. I'm going to have a line across here, so if I bring it up to there, that one will do, lock it off. Same with this one, probably about maybe 4 foot across, and then up into the ground. And then this one wants to come a bit higher because we're on a slope. So it's there, it's only rough. So we've then got our pieces of cordage that we're going to utilise. So we need our 2 lengths of cordage. These are probably, I don't know, they're probably about 10 foot long. And the way I've got them, I've just got a loop tied in either end. So what I want to do then is just halve it. We'll get our tent pegs. Like I said, we brought 4 tent pegs with us. Again, if you didn't want to bring these with you, you can just make them out of some pieces of hazel. So our length with the 2 loops on, all we're going to do is cloverage in the centre, and then we're going to cloverage around there, and effectively all they're doing, they're just acting like a guy rope on a tent. They're just acting like a tether. This one doesn't have to be tight. If you pull it too tight, it'll pull the pole over. So we tighten up on the second one. So that's all right there. We get our second guy rope, if you will, and again, same thing, cloverage round the middle and around the pole. And we're going to leave that one for now. We're not going to tie that one off yet. We then have a secondary piece of cord, or a third piece of cord I should say. Again, cloverage around there, and then what we want to do, this bottom one wants to be level with the bottom of the lens. So bring that there, just wrap it round up to the top. We'll do a half hitch on here, okay, and then we'll just go back to this and tie it off, and we can tie it to that that other pole, if that other cord. So dead simple. That's it. Now, as I said before, we didn't tighten this one up. We'll just tighten this up now, and it's this back one that'll kind of tighten everything up. There we go. That's pretty rigid now. That's nice and tight. And if you need to, again, there we go. So all we've created there is basically a cord framework that we're going to build our hide off. And this is all we're going to use. So we've got a bit of a collection of scrim. You can drape that on the bottom. I think it's as simple as that. We don't have to go mad with it. I brought the 3D camo with me. I'm not going to put the pants on, so again, why not use that? Use that as a bit of cover. You could actually put that over if you wanted to be, you know, super concealed. I still want to see through that and see where the birds are, so what I will do is actually just use a bit of that on the bottom bit. So if you feel like there's not enough concealment on it, just have a look round what's on the deck. And again, this is all stuff that come off the trees when we cut them down. Bits like that. These will make fantastic bits of concealment, and again, just build it up really. Bit of bracken, bit of dead bracken. One more handful and I think we'll be done. And it's probably took us, what, 10 minutes to knock that up, and we've not had to carry it here, so that's the beauty of a little setup like this. Quick. Always bring a first aid kit with you. Bloody state of that. I'm going to have to put my unlucky gloves on. No, I'm going to have to put my new gloves on just to try and soak it up a bit, but I don't know what I did that on. Anyway, our new hide. We'll put our 3D hood on. Right, I think we're good to go at that. The beauty of this is as well, because we're not fastened to a tripod head. Again, if something come that way, I can quickly handheld. All right, I know I've not got the stability of the tripod, but handheld, bang bang, and then straight back on that. So in a way, this can be a little bit of an advantage to you. But yeah, so we'll give it, I don't know, we'll give it a couple of hours. But already I've had a couple of chiff-chaffs coming in. We've had, I'd really like to get some pictures of the wrens, because they're so difficult to photograph, and they're hard to pinpoint, because if you put, say you put food out for, at a feeding station, you'll get the usual suspects, the tits, blue tits, great tits, whatever, greenfinches, chaffinches and that. But wrens very rarely come down to a feeding station. They just seem to be in the small stuff, in a big pile of brash or whatever. They'll be in the bottom of that, rooting about, and you'll see them, particularly on these felled trees that we've dropped. I've seen a few dotted about there. So again, if one came down that side, I can pick the camera up, and I'd be lucky I could get some handheld shots of them. But we'll see what happens. So that's my improvised hide setup. Let's see if it works. Well, we've had, let's take this off because it's gone warm. So we've had a couple of hours, and I'm surprised at how good a shots I've got. I've got some really nice. I had a chiff-chaff come in, and I got some lovely shots of it against this old dead foliage. It really stood out. The contrast was fantastic. We've had a couple of wrens, the usual suspect, quite a few robins, but a lot of the birds at the moment, they're not in good condition because breeding season's just finished. They're molting out and they look a bit scabby, but it's the reality of this time of the year. It can be a difficult time of the year to get photographs of stuff in nice condition because, like I said, they're molting out and they're changing, they're getting ready for the winter. And I'm saying winter, we're nowhere near winter. We've got autumn first to come, but already the leaves are dropping. And I don't know, it seems really early. All the fruit is ready. The sloes, the damsons, plums, all the plums have gone already. And I think it's the heat that we've had. We've had such a hot summer, and I think the trees are actually under stress. So already we've had leaves that are changing colour and they're already dropping, and it's only, the middle of August. So anyway, that's what it is. So that's me improvised hide. A really light setup. You can just chuck it on your back. All right, you've got a bit of messing about to do when you get in the woods, but that's all part of it. It's a bit of improvisation, a little bit of woodcraft, a bit of bushcraft, and we've got some results out of it. I'm not having to carry a load of stuff out into the field, and within 10-15 minutes I'm set up and I can break it down and I can be mobile again. I can take it with me if I want. I can take this little improvised tripod with me, but it works. It's worked a treat, with this beanbag on top. So yeah, I've enjoyed that. Hope you've enjoyed it as well. So thanks very much for watching. Thanks for supporting the channel. If you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe. If you've enjoyed the content, give us a like, press that bell icon for any future notifications of new films coming out, and we'll see you on the next one.